Hey guys, I'm Lauren. My little boy Dylan has cow's milk protein allergy and I gave up dairy and soy to carry on breastfeeding him for 2 years. And I've just been recording some videos and writing some blog posts all about our sort of journey and hoping to support other mums who are going through the same thing. So today's video is going to be all about sort of our journey, our diagnosis, how we found out Dilan had CMPA and what we've been doing since then and where we are now. So hopefully that gives you guys a good idea of where I'm coming from and maybe give you a little bit of hope if you're at the beginning of your journey. Make sure you subscribe, click the subscribe button right there to be able to keep up to date with all of our videos, and check out my blog as well because there's loads more resources on there. So, I can't remember what I was going to say, which is fine. What do we do? When Dilan was born, he was a pretty sickly baby, and I know they say that babies can be sick, but we would leave puddles, actual puddles. We would get through hundreds of muslins. I mean, every week I was having to go out and buy more muslins because I couldn't wash them quick enough. My washing pile was piled high with his clothes and mine because he'd be sick on me and we'd both have to get changed. Like, it was pretty horrendous. I mean, looking back, he was also pretty unsettled baby. He would either be feeding or crying. There wasn't much else going on in those first few months, to the point that we were out and he was asleep. We had to quickly get things done before he woke up again because he'd need a feed or he'd be crying. So, I mean, the first few months as a first time mum, I just thought he was a normal baby, but looking back, I can see that maybe things weren't right. So at about 4 months, his weight gain sort of began to slow. We got him weighed and he began to fall down the centiles, and just before he was 6 months old he was actually below the second centile on those charts. So we were really concerned that there was something else going on. We were referred to a paediatrician by our GP, and our health visitor was involved, but no one really knew what it was. He was diagnosed with a missed tongue tie, which they thought might have been the cause of that, but really we didn't have a clue. So once he turned 6 months old, we started baby-led weaning, and one evening I'd just given him a plate of a bit of chicken and pasta that I had made for my dinner, just for him to sort of play with, and it was made with like a cream sauce, and he rubbed it on his face and immediately came out in hives everywhere that the milk had touched. So I completely freaked out, obviously. I mean, it was terrifying to see him come up with all these hives all over his face. And I called 111 non-emergency number, who said it probably was an allergy and the most likely culprit was the milk. So we were really lucky in that a friend of mine who had a baby the same age as Dylan was going through something really similar. Now her little boy's symptoms were completely different because he was gaining weight absolutely no problem. You could see he was much bigger than Dylan, but he had sort of eczema and other issues, and they had just put him onto a dairy-free formula and his symptoms had really improved. So she said to me, this sounds like CMPA, you need to try cutting out dairy and soya, and that's what I did. I cut out dairy and soya completely, and the sickness just stopped. It was like someone had put a plug in and it just stopped, and it was amazing. So that was sort of, for us, the point where we knew it was CMPA. Eventually we saw a dietitian who advised me to retrial soya to confirm that. Obviously the milk we didn't need to try because he was reacting to it on contact still. There was another instance where he got some yogurt dropped on his arm and again immediately came up in red hives. So I went back to eating soya for 1 day and he was sick for about 9 days, just violently sick all over again. So at that point we confirmed it. We went with dairy-free, dairy and soya-free, and that was it. That sort of solved it for us. Now obviously giving up dairy and soya was incredibly overwhelming. I mean, it really was. It was a huge learning curve for me. I had to learn to read packets. I had to learn, often the hard way, that milk was in everything. And I mean, you can find milk hidden in wine, you can find milk hidden in ham and chicken, you can find milk hidden in pickled onions. It gets everywhere, and soya happens to be even worse because it's used as a preservative. It's in almost all bread you'll find in the supermarket, it's in loads of biscuits, it's also in loads of free from products because it makes a really good replacement for dairy. So it was definitely a huge adjustment learning to handle that and to sort of live without dairy and soya. But the change in Dylan, the change from constantly being sick to this happy baby was totally worth it, and it was amazing. He was a completely different baby once we were sort of allergen free. His weight shot up to, I think he's now on like the 70th centile. Like, it just was crazy. He's just a completely different baby, and so the sacrifices that I made were totally worth it. So we stayed dairy and soya free for 2 years. Dylan self-weaned from breastfeeding last Christmas, and so he's still dairy and soya free, and I've sort of slowly reintroduced it back into my diet. Once Dylan got a bit older, it did definitely become harder to keep him from dairy. I mean, I had to worry about, once he started walking, could he get hold of someone else's food? If we were with other children, could he grab hold of their biscuits or something and eat it? We did have a couple of occasions, mostly always at soft plays, where he would find a Quaver, you know, or a Smartie, and I'd have to whisk it off him or even pull it out of his mouth, and it was really hard. It is really hard. Luckily, we have some amazing friends who are really understanding and have always made sure that Dylan was catered for at events or birthday parties, and made sure that their kids had safe snacks as well, so I didn't have to worry about that. As he has got older, it has definitely become harder in one way, because he's much more aware now of how different he is. A while ago, last summer, we were at the park and he wanted ice cream, and he couldn't have it because I thought that the ice cream van had milk protein in it, because it gets everywhere. And he was devastated, and it is really hard, but he does understand now that milk makes him poorly, soya makes him poorly, and if we pick up a new food in the supermarket, he will hand it to me to check the label, and he'll say, has it got milk in it, has it got soya in it, will it make me poorly, and I can check it. And that's brilliant. Like, I'm really glad that he can do that. I don't have to worry so much now about him accidentally eating something, but it does break my heart that my 3-year-old has to sort of worry about those kinds of things. So I mean, it is really tough. Dilan is now 3. He turned 3 in November, and lots of things have changed. He stopped reacting on contact to milk, which was huge. I had to test by putting some yogurt on his arm, and nothing happened, which was brilliant. So that led us to starting on the milk ladder, which is really scary, and even saying it is a little bit crazy because I never imagined that we would get there, but we did. And he's actually tolerating multi-milk biscuits, and he's even had a few other biscuits containing baked milk. So he's had a few Garibaldis, and he's had a few nice biscuits, and it's brilliant. We actually had some SPT, or some skin prick tests, done in hospital, which is the first ones we've had because we haven't ever had them previously. And he got a positive to milk, which is sort of to be expected. He got a negative to soya. Now, if you watched my frequently asked questions video, you'll know that a negative result on a skin prick test doesn't mean they haven't got an allergy. It just means that it's not an IgE mediated allergy, which tends to be the more serious allergies, tends to be the more immediate responses. So it was actually quite reassuring to know that his allergy to soya is non-IgE. So next steps for us, we've got a baked milk challenge in hospital. So that means he'll be eating a muffin, a whole muffin containing milk, which is really scary in hospital though. So in case anything does go wrong, we'll be in a great place for that. And we're going to start a soya ladder at home. So we've got some party rings here ready for him to start having those at home, and keep your fingers crossed for us. We've come from Dylan getting hives all over his face just from touching a cream sauce, to now he can actually eat malted milk. So he's going to eat a whole muffin with milk in it. So I'm remaining hopeful that he will outgrow it completely, and there's no reason why you shouldn't be hopeful as well. So hopefully what you've taken from this is that there is hope, and that you're not alone. There are so many of us sort of going through the same thing, all at different stages of the journey, but we've all been where you are if you're at the beginning, and you know, we all sort of support each other. So what I'll do is I'll put a link down below to the Facebook group that I sort of run, which is full of nearly 2,000 women who've all given up dairy and loads of other things for their kids, and we'll all be there to support you if you need some extra support. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure you click on subscribe, make sure you visit my blog because there's loads more resources there, loads of blog posts that I've written, and also a huge treat list, so you can make sure you're not missing out on any chocolate or cake or any donuts. I'll be back with more videos. So if there's anything you do want to hear about or anything you want to ask, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks.